jump for joy. You are the payroll clerk in that company, and you are hoping to set up an Excel spreadsheet that will facilitate wages calculations rather than the pen and paper you're currently using. So this sheet will be checked against your manual calculation, and you will only implement it once it has been confirmed that it's doing the calculations correctly. So in this scenario, Magella is employed by the company and she is a single person with a child. We're told that she is the primary carer of that child and that she had the following earnings in the first 8 weeks of 2023. And we're also told that she is taxed under the cumulative system of taxation. So we're just going to move to our calculation sheet here now. Now I have just brought across the wages here just so that I can pop them in. So I'm just highlighting them and copying them into the gross pay field. Now, you'll see that I've populated a formula here. And the formula basically for cumulative gross is just taking her wages in week 1 and popping it into the field in week 1. In week 2, it's adding on what she had earned at the end of week 1 to what she has earned in week 2. Week 3, what she had earned at the end of week 2 to week 3, and so on. Okay, so we're told that Magella is a single person with a child. So based on that, her standard rate cutoff point is going to fall in here. So single or widowed or surviving civil partner qualifying for the single person child carer credit. So that means that the first 44,000 that she earns will be at 20% and the balance at 40%. So we're just going to put that into our formula here. Now it'll fill in a spreadsheet over here on the cutoff point field, and I'll explain to you what that's doing in a second. So the tax credit then, so as a single person with a child, she qualifies for the single person tax credit of 1775. She qualifies for the employee tax credit because she is an employee, and she qualifies for the single person child carer tax credit of 1650. So that's 1775, 1775 here, and 1650. Okay, so I'm just going to add those up. So 1775 plus 1775 plus 1650. Okay, now again, revenue would advise you of those, so you wouldn't be making them up for individuals. It would be based on what revenue have advised you. So I'm just going to calculate her cutoff point. So calling it standard rate cutoff point divided by 52. And because she's on the cumulative, she's entitled to whatever week in the year, she's entitled to that many of them. So this week it'll be 1 and so on. Okay, so that's 846.15 a week. So in week 2, she has 2 of them, week 3, 3 of them, and so on. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with the tax credit. So tax credit divided by 52 multiplied by whatever week we're in. Okay, just fill that down. Okay, so week 2, she gets 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, and so on. And it's quite neat. It works out at €100 a week. So we then start calculating her tax for each week. And we're just going to say, okay, in this week, she has earned, and it's all now, because she's on cumulative, it's all with reference to this cell here. So looking at her cumulative wages each week. So, and remember I said to you that this is like the generation game, okay? So are her wages higher or lower than her cutoff point? So in this case, her wages are lower than her cutoff point. So we will be saying her wages multiplied by 20%. Okay. She has nothing at the higher rate of tax, so her wages her gross tax this week is going to be €150. So nothing at the higher rate. Her total gross tax is going to be this plus this, and that comes to €150. So her net tax this week is going to be this 150 minus her tax credits. So this week her tax deducted will be €50. Okay. In week 2, same thing. She has earned €850, so her cumulative earnings are now €1,600. Again, is it higher or lower than her cutoff point? It is lower, so she will pay all of her tax at 20%. Okay. Again, nothing at the high rate, so everything is going to be based on the tax due at rate 1. So this week, by the end of this week, she should have paid tax of €120, but Magella paid 50 of that liability last week, and that's because we've rolled up her wages. So this week she will only pay the difference. She will pay 120 minus what she has already paid of €50. So this week she will pay €70. Come along then in week 3, she earns €980. So her total gross pay now is €2,580. Is it higher or lower than her cutoff point? So we can see it is higher. So this week she will pay her cutoff point multiplied by 20%, and she will pay the balance. So equals her wages minus what we've already taxed multiplied by 40%. Now, when you get more confident with your if statements, you can build those into the formula. So we'll see a jump in her tax this week, probably. So this week, her total gross tax is 524.31. She has a cutoff point, or tax credit of 300. So this week, she should have paid tax of 224.31. We know that she has paid €120. So this week, she will pay the difference. Okay. So I'm going to fill down this formula here because it's the same. We can see she had a gross of 3560 and a cutoff here. Same this week. Gross is higher and higher. Okay, so I can just fill these down because every week it's the same until our last week. Okay. So again, this week she will pay 347 minus 224. This week 417 minus 347. This week 420 minus 417. And this week 491 minus 420. Okay, so we come along then this week, she has gross of this and cumulative of 67. So her gross pay is lower than her cutoff point. So she will be taxed now on her gross pay. Okay, so just watch that. Don't get into the habit of just saying, oh, it's the cutoff point by 20%. We have to look at the cumulative gross. Okay, so C9 by 20%. Nothing due at the high rate. So this week, 1273 is, okay, I'll fill down the formula just for complete accuracy. So 1273. €800 is her tax credit. So this week, by the end of this week, she should have paid €473 in tax. We can see that Magella at the end of week 7 had paid 491. So this week she will get a refund. Okay, so she'll get a refund of the 491 that she has paid, less the 473 that she should have paid. So this week she'll get 1838 of a refund.